The semi-final lineup of the 2018 World Darts Championship was very interesting. Eventual champion Rob Cross, who is about to top off one of the greatest rookie years in PDC history, faced and beat the reigning world champion and world number 1, Michael van Gerwen, in the showpiece semi. The other game saw a special story, as 16-time champion of the world Phil Taylor, who was taking part in his last PDC event, faced Jamie Lewis, a talented young Welshman. That was nearly 6 years ago, and Lewis now does not even have a PDC Tour card. He suffered a fast and dramatic downfall from being just 2 wins away from becoming a world champion to averaging below 60 in a Euro Tour game. But how did this all happen, and where did Lewis go? That's what we're going to take a look at today. Jamie began appearing in WTF youth events in 2007, and by 2008 he reached the final of the Boys World Masters. He reached another final at the 2009 WTF Europe Youth Cup Singles, where he lost to Sweden's Oster Lukasiak, who had a good PDC World Cup campaign recently. Then came September of 2009, where at 17 he won his first 2 titles, the World Youth Masters and World Youth Cup. This was his final season as a youth player, and it was announced that he was then moving up to the main tour. In 2010, he won a senior title at the Welsh Classic, being just 18 at the time. He went titleless in 2011 before attending PDC Q School at the start of 2012. He won multiple games on each of the first 3 days of Q School before going on a run to the last 4 on the 4th and final day, meaning that he secured a 2-year PDC Tour card. In his first year on tour, he failed to make it past the last 32 of any senior event, but he won 2 Development Tour titles, beating Aaron Monk 4-3 in the final of the first, and whitewashing Michael Smith in the final of the second. This meant that he finished 4th on the Youth Tour Order of Merit, but he got a spot at the World Championship, as the 3 players above him had already qualified. His Ali Pali debut came in a first to 4-leg preliminary round game against Lawrence Ilagan, and he made a good start, going 3-1 up. However, he then lost 3 legs in a row without getting a dart at a double, meaning that he lost in the deciding leg. In mid-2013, he beat Brian Woods and Barry Bates 6-4 to qualify for the Gibraltar Darts Trophy Euro Tour event. In Gibraltar, he began by beating Colin Osborne 6-4 in the first round, before edging out Robert Thornton in a deciding leg in round 2. His last 16 tie was easier for him, as he whitewashed Steve Brown. He was then pushed all the way against Kevin Painter in the quarters, but he managed to prevail in a deciding leg to get through to the semis, where a win would get him a spot at the World Match Play. Jamie faced Adrian Lewis in this game, which he described as a final due to the circumstances. This match went to another deciding leg, where Adrian missed 3 match darts, allowing Jamie to hit double 2, win the game and secure his Blackpool debut. He was beaten 6-1 by Phil Taylor in the final, but he had had a great weekend, reaching his first senior final in the process. He then lost 10-7 to Kevin Painter on his match play debut, 6-1 to MVG in his Players' Championship Finals debut, and 3-0 to Raymond van Barneveld at Ali Pali, having lost all 3 sets 3-1. He reached the second Pro Tour final of his career at a UK Open qualifier in 2014, where he was beaten by MVG in the semis, before losing 6-1 to Brendan Dolan in the final. In the UK Open, he won 2 games to reach the last 16 of a major for the first time. At the 2015 World Championship, he lost 3-1 to James Wade, extending his winless streak at Ali Pali to 3 games. That year, he got the chance to represent Wales at the PDC World Cup for the first time, but alongside Mark Webster, the Welsh team was shocked in the first round by Hong Kong. Then, at the World Match Play, he got his first Winter Gardens win, beating Justin Pike 10-7 before losing 13-2 to MVG in round 2. In one of the Players' Championship events, held ahead of the 2015 World Grand Prix, he hit his first PDC 9-darter. In the Grand Prix, he survived 2 match darts before beating Willie O'Connor in a deciding leg in round 1. In the second round, he went 2-0 down to Michael Smith before winning 3 sets in a row to cause a big upset and reach his first major quarter-final, where he lost 3-0 to MVG. His Ali Pali losing streak then extended to 4 games, when he lost 3-1 to Daryl Gurney. In 2016, he reached 1 semi and 1 quarter in the Pro Tour events before he beat Mick McGowan 3-2 to finally win at Ali Pali. He was beaten 4-0 by Peter Wright in the second round. On the 2017 Pro Tour, he didn't make it past the last 16 of any event and failed to qualify for Ali Pali through the Order of Merit. Lewis tweeted saying that he was very disappointed and frustrated not to qualify for the World Championship for the first time, but that he had one more chance at the PDPA qualifier. And at that qualifier, he won the third place playoff to qualify for the preliminary round of the 2018 Worlds, a tournament which would change his life. In the Ali Pali prelim round, Lewis averaged 93 and beat Kenny Nayans 2-1, winning the deciding set 3-0. This got him a place in round 1 on the same night, where he upped his average to 99 in a great 3-0 win over fellow Welshman Johnny Clayton. Following that win, Lewis said that he hadn't really showed what he could do during his 5 years in the PDC, and that he felt that week was a chance to finally do so. And he had a great opportunity to do so as he faced number 2 seed Peter Wright in round 2, where he was a 6-1 outsider. Wright won the first set in a deciding leg, but Lewis then went on a crazy run, winning 4 straight sets to get a 4-1 win and move through to the last 16. In the performance of a lifetime, Lewis had averaged 107 with a first 9 of nearly 117. He said that he had finally started to believe in himself and that he wanted to keep it going. He had another great chance to do this, facing James Richardson as the 4-11 favourite to reach the quarters. Like in the previous round, Lewis lost the first set before winning 4 in a row to get the win and become the first player to get to the quarters after starting in the preliminary round. He faced Darren Webster in the quarters and was the narrow 4-5 favourite. This was a huge opportunity for Lewis, and he grabbed it with both hands, whitewashing Webster 5-0, averaging 101 in the process to get through to the semis and secure a minimum of £85,000. It also set up a huge tie, as he would face either Phil Taylor or Gary Anderson for a chance to reach the World Final. It ended up being Phil Taylor, who was in his last PDC event, and Lewis was an outsider at 10-3. It was the same man Lewis had faced in his 2013 Euro Tour final. Lewis won the first set in a deciding leg, but then Taylor won 6 in a row to win 6-1 and move through to the final. Despite this heavy loss, it had been an unbelievable tournament for Lewis, and Taylor raised his hand. It's crazy to think that he reached the semis after his sad tweet. However, he failed to push on in the rest of 2018, reaching only one Pro Tour semi-final. He did get chosen to appear at the first World Series event of that year, which broke the darts record attendance, where he beat Nico Kurz in a deciding leg. This got him a place at the World Series finals, where he averaged 109 in a 6-2 first round win over Dimitri van den Berg. He then averaged in the 80s in the next 2 rounds, beating Rob Cross to reach the quarters before losing to James Wade. At the 2019 World Championship, Jamie beat Cody Harris and Daryl Gurney in deciding sets before losing 4-0 to Dave Chisnell. He had a poor 2019 season, failing to make it past the last 16 of any event. His average in the Players' Championships was just 85, and he fell out the top 32, meaning that he failed to qualify for Ali Pali. He started the 2020 season losing in the first round in 6 of the first 8 Players' Championship events. After the return from the COVID break, he lost in the first round in all but one of the next 7 Players' Championship events, regularly averaging in the 80s. Some shocking and slightly untrue news then came out, with Lewis reportedly quitting the game due to personal reasons and terrible habits. He said there was time for him to step away from the game and focus on himself. However, that wasn't fully true, and Lewis played in a Euro Tour event nearly a month later. He was drawn against Robert Marjanovic in the first round, and he played absolutely terribly and lost 6-0, averaging just 57. It was shocking for his fans to watch, but Lewis offered an explanation, tweeting to explain that he was suffering with anxiety and was receiving social media abuse. Following this, the PDC and PDPA put Lewis in contact with Sporting Chance, a mental health organisation who helped him out. He then missed a few events, but returned at the PDPA World Championship qualifier, where for the second time in his career, he qualified for the Worlds, winning 3 games in a row to reach Ali Pali. He beat Luke Woodhouse in a deciding set in the first round averaging 90 in the process. He faced Gerwyn Price in the next round and, shockingly, managed to force the deciding set just 2 months after averaging below 60. Lewis went on to lose 3-2, but it was a good performance. This was not enough to see Lewis keep his tour card, as he finished 78th on the order of merit. He's been back to Q School 3 times since, but has failed to win a card back. Outside of the PDC, he managed to win his first WTF title in 12 years at the 2022 Antwerp Open, which had a field of over 400 players. This helped him to qualify for the upcoming 2023 WTF World Championship, where he will face Jarno Bottenberg in the first round for the chance to play Danny Lauby in round 2.